Shloka 10. Swapnasthanas taijaso ukaro dvitiya matrotkarshat ubhayatvat votkarshati vai jnanas samtatam samanas cha bhavati nasya brahmavid kule bhavati ya evam veda. The translation is Taijasa, whose field is the dream state, is the second sound U. And this is in the middle. It's in the middle of A and M. So, between A and M, it is in the middle. This is the middle sound. Contains the qualities of the other two. The last line is, he who knows thus, he excels in wisdom. Which wisdom? Not math, chemistry, geography. Not the external sciences. This wisdom, inner wisdom. He knows himself. He excels in his inner wisdom. And in his kula. Kula here is lineage, or everybody who comes in contact with him. It does not mean his family. Yeah? It means anybody who comes in contact with him. What happens to them? They will never be ignorant of Brahman. Yeah, so this is very simple. Taijasa, you already know, is dream state. The word used was U. Again, there was a philosophical kind of interpretation behind this, that because whatever is created in the waking state, your nama, rupa, vyavhara, you created the entire creation with your own labels, that is maintained in the dream state, no? When you dream in the night, you see the same people, the same situations, you see the same world, exactly the same way. Yes? So it is maintained, your nama, rupa, vyavhara is maintained in the dream state. Therefore, the philosophical interpretation lies in the word Vishnu, which is the god of maintenance, the one who maintains everything. So the U was taken from his name. Again, just philosophy. The only experiential aspect to this is whatever was created in the waking state is maintained in the dream state, and I see this experientially myself. Yeah. So that has been given the sound U. Some of you will say, why U? Why from A, U? Yeah. A is louder, U is slightly softer than A. These are the natural sounds that a toddler makes. A is the loudest. He doesn't cry, he cries, ah, he screams, ah. Yeah, that's the loud waking state. The softer reflection of that loud waking state, when he's tired of crying, the toddler, mama's not listening to me. Do you see that? So the U comes later after A. Simply my own recognition of how sounds have been developed. Yes, so that kind of a sound has been given to the dream state, because the dream is a reflection of the waking. U is simply the tail of A. The dream is simply the reflection of waking. Similarly, if experientially you want to see, if you get there ever, the sound of creation is slightly softer in the dream state than it is in the waking state. It also says in the verse that U is between A and N. When a toddler is screaming, he's screaming ah. And then it becomes a little softer, ooh. Yeah. And then finally it's just yeah. So you'll see the way the sounds have been chosen. And the philosophical interpretation I told you is Vishnu. Now the last part of the verse. One who knows that he is this pure consciousness that is manifesting the dream state, he can recognize in the dream that I am dreaming. I am dreaming this dream character. I am dreaming this dream world. He has become so sharp in his awareness. He has recognized that I am not the body mind that sleeps. Do you see this? Only such a person who has broken his conditioning that I sleep, he is the one who can really see in the dream state that I am dreaming. There is a dream character that I am dreaming of, and there are other dream objects, and there is a full dream world. How is he aware of this? Because he has broken out of his old conditioning that I sleep. He recognizes that I am manifesting this dream state. So what happens to such a person? He excels in his inner wisdom. Yeah, because now he is moving towards recognizing the darkness of deep sleep. So he's excelling in his inner wisdom of who am I? Recognizing who or what am I really? So, pointer for you, when you recognize the difference between your waking and dream state, and you can draw a parallel between them, that means you have attained this milestone. You have excelled in your inner wisdom. And the last part of the verse, in his lineage or whoever comes in contact with him, his family, his friends, or if he is a teacher, all his disciples, nobody will be ignorant about Brahman. Because such a person will definitely ooze out or radiate out this inner wisdom. His people around him will want to come and ask, what is it? And he would definitely direct them in that correct direction. See, you are not the body and mind. Yeah, you are beyond the body and mind. And therefore, nobody in his lineage would be ignorant about Brahman. Clear? That verse is clear? Let's move to Shloka 11. Sushuptasthano pragyo makaras tritiya matra mitar apitirva minnoti hava idam sarvam apitis cha bhavati ya evam veda. Pragya, his field is the deep sleep state. He is the third sound, which is because that is the measure. Yeah, I'll explain the word measure to you in a while. So because that is the measure, it is that into which all disappears and all emerges from. And he who knows thus, he becomes all. So I've already explained from we went to ooh, and the toddlers just So you notice that there is this experiential development of Nama Rupa Vyavahara. The Nama Rupa Vyavahara in my dream state becomes very blurry and fuzzy, and finally in the deep sleep state, the Nama Rupa Vyavahara completely disappears. Yeah? Name, form and function is born in the waking. In the dream state it is maintained. And in the deep sleep state it is completely wiped off. It disappears. There is no name, no form and no function in the deep sleep state. Is this part clear? Yeah. So if this is clear, now you'll understand the meaning of measure. Everything now emerges out of the deep sleep state and becomes the dream. Yes. So the deep sleep state, the pragya, is the measure of whatever comes out. Yeah. Measure is nothing but how you measure. You have a measuring cup in the kitchen, right? The measuring cup shows whatever, 50 grams, 100 grams, 250 grams. Yeah, this must be 250 grams. You have a measuring cup in the kitchen. You measure with the measuring cup. Exactly that much only you can use what you measure. Apply the same kind of logic. You only have certain events that happen during the day. Only certain vasanas, certain seeds manifest during a particular daytime, including the dream state. Yes. Suppose you have this strong craving to go out shopping. Oh, it's the weekend and you had this craving come up early in the morning and you brush it aside. No, I have to attend Maandukya. Maandukya is going on, but again that craving pops up. I want to go shopping and buy this thing, whatever that thing is. And you just brush it aside. I should be paying attention to Maandukya right now. Why am I thinking about that thing? You're making notes and you're going through the session. You're meditating for some time. Again, the thought pops up. Do you notice? This didn't pop up yesterday. It might not even come tomorrow. This is today's measure. That which came out of the deep sleep state into the dream state. And that which came from the dream state into the waking state. Today's measure of vasanic seeds. This will go back in the night. You'll go from the waking, you'll go to the dream state. From the dream state, it goes into the deep sleep state. Have you noticed you don't take action on something today? You go to sleep in the night, it just gets wiped off from your memory. Next morning, you don't have that craving. Yes, that is the secret that sages know. And that's why they tell you that don't get angry today. I know you want to shout at this person today because he did this thing wrong. You wait 24 hours. Tomorrow you get angry with him. Why do they say this to you? Because they know this thing that it gets wiped off by the deep sleep state. And maybe it will not be the next day's measure. It might not come back tomorrow. Might. Yeah? If the vasanic seed is not so heavy and not so loaded, maybe you forget it. Maybe you let it go. Yeah? Or maybe tomorrow's measures, those things that come from the deep sleep state, those vasanas are stronger. Maybe you have a deadline to meet tomorrow and you get so busy you forget to get angry with the person you're supposed to get angry with. Do you see this? Do you understand the word measure? It's so important that every day's measure of vasanic seeds, which will give rise to action or which will give rise to today's thoughts, today's feelings, all that is born from my deep sleep state when I come out of it into the dream. And then it is carried from the dream into the waking. Clear? So now if you understood measure, you'll understand the next part where he says into which everything disappears and from which everything emerges. That is pragya. Yeah. So I'll read that again. Pragya, his field is the deep sleep state. Is the third sound, which is It is the measure, and it is that from which everything emerges and into which everything disappears. Yeah? And the last part of the verse. He who knows this, he becomes all. What does that mean? It means I see that everything is me. The waking state is me. The dream state is me. The deep sleep state is me. So the measure is also me. From me only this measure comes out from which all the happenings happen. All nama rupa vyavahara have come from that same measure. Everything is me. Aha, this recognition happens. So, he who knows thus, he becomes all. He doesn't have to become all. It's not a process to become. It's just a translation of the Sanskrit word. Basically, he who knows this knows that he is all. Yeah, that's the last line of the verse. And the philosophical interpretation of why sound for the deep sleep state is from the Lord of Destruction, Maheshwara. So the Ma has been taken from Maheshwara. Yeah, again, that is only the philosophical aspect, not experiential at all. Don't think in the deep sleep state you're going to hear the sound of creation and it is going to sound like no, not at all. Yeah, don't even go that way. Clear? A, U and is clear? When you chanted Om, you chanted Om, and there was a silence at the end of Om, where exactly in those moments you feel that the body, mind have vibrated and come in sync with the creation frequency. And that's when you feel very much at peace because the mind completely shuts off. It's just a few seconds maybe. That is why you love chanting it. Yes, because of that coming in sync, which I explained on the first day, if you remember. Yeah, the resonance. The coming in sync is what makes the mind vanish. Even if it is just a few seconds, there is no mind. Yeah, you're completely in sync. You are the sound of creation at that moment. Yeah, so the soundlessness is only for the lips because you finish chanting U and you're not saying Aum, you're saying Om. When you finish chanting Om, the silence at the end is where the sync happens. Yes. And that sync is what Shloka 12 is going to talk about. Amatras chaturtho avyavhareya prapanchopashama shivo advaita evam omkara atmaiva sama vishate yatmana atmanam ya evam veda. The fourth is soundless and it is unutterable. You cannot utter soundlessness. In other words, you cannot have a vyavhara for it. There is no function. Yeah, there is no transaction. It is unutterable. Prapanchopashamam. Prapanchopashamam means where all the waking and dream worlds cease. There is a cessation of the sorrow due to manifestation. You have to understand that manifestation itself is sorrow. Do you recognize this now? Yeah. So manifestation of the waking state itself is sorrow. The quieting down of that sorrow is prapanchupashamam. The manifestation of the dream state itself is sorrow. The quieting down of that manifestation of the dream state, that cessation of the sorrow, is called prapanchupashamam. All this ceases in Turiya. Yeah? We've covered Vaishvanaraha and Vishwa. We've covered Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha. We've covered Pragya and Ishvara. Uma. Now we are at soundlessness, which is the Turiya. So in Turiya, there is complete cessation of the manifestation. Complete cessation of the sorrow of manifestation. Shivo is blissful, peaceful, in other words. And Advaita, no two. There is no two in Turiya. Evam Omkara. Thus, Om is Atmaiva, is the Atma. Yeah? So this Turiya is nothing else but Atma, is nothing else but Brahman. This itself is Om. Yeah? Because Om, when the sync happens, you come into sync with the sound of creation and the mind shuts off. Even if it is 2 seconds, means prapanchupashamam happened. Mind shut off for 2 seconds. You were in sync, absolutely peaceful, Shivam. There is no two. There was no subject and object in those 1-2 seconds. Yeah, so there is no two, Advaita. Yeah, that is Om. That is the Atma. Clear? He who knows this, he merges his self in the self. Very poetic way of saying that you realize you are that. There is nothing like merging self into self. No merger really happening here. It's just a poetic way of saying that you realize, aha, I am that. I am awareness. Pure awareness where the mind shut off. Even if it's shut off for 1 second. Prapanchupashamam. Cessation of manifestation. Clear? So if Om is the entire universe, then why specifically soundlessness or silence for Turiya? That's simple, because Turiya, or the light of awareness, is silence. Yeah, it does not have a sound. Sound belongs to the creation. It was created in the waking state. It is maintained in the dream state. It merges or becomes seed form in the deep sleep state. In Turiya, there is soundlessness. Turiya is the awareness, the light of awareness that illumine this waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. Again, reminder, he who knows this, he merges his self in the self, simply means that he recognizes, aha, I am this awareness. There is no real merging happening there. And there is a recognition that in reality, there is no duality to begin with. There is no two. The two is a story created. This is the meaning of self-merging into self. You recognize that there was no separate person to begin with. And this is the meaning of the person dies. It doesn't mean that you're going to die. It just means the sense of a personal I dies. So many people ask, so for an enlightened one, the person has died? Yes, the sense of I am this body mind called Ekta, which is the teacher, the family member, the professional, this sense of person, the sense of I, the personal I, this has died. And how can you know that the person has died for you? When it does not matter to you whether it is called Om or Amin or Amen or Shalom. You see all of them as simply words. Yes, that is why I do not insist that you chant the mantra Om. I do not insist that you address it also as Om. Sound of creation, Nad. That's good enough. Yeah. Otherwise, I will be responsible for tying you down to another new Hindu conditioning, Om conditioning. And then I'll have to create another new session to break your new conditioning. Oh my God, so much work. To begin with, only I'm telling you, do not get into any conditioning. When you're able to break out of all conditioning, then the sense of I am this person dies. Let the person die. It is anyway a false idea. And when the person dies, there is such a major relief. It's not possible for me to really communicate this to you in words. But once the person dies, all your worldly activities will continue. Everything. As a parent, as a child, as a sibling, a spouse, everything continues. But there is no sense of I am doing it. It's such a relief that it's all happening. And it always happened. I had assumed faults to worship. Similarly, I have assumed faults, experiencership even. I do not even experience it. All of them continue. In fact, now things happen more beautifully. Why? Because now you are not interfering, no? Your interference itself causes the stress, the anxiety that prolongs the sadness, the depression, the whole restlessness in the situation. When you stop interfering, things happen according to a computer program, perfectly, beautifully, better than before. The verses are clear. If you take Tarzan from the jungle to the city and you tell him, this is a chair, that is a table, that is a bookshelf. Tarzan, he's not gone to any school. What are you showing him? Nama Rupa Vyavhara. Are you seeing this? You're showing him name, form and function. So Tarzan will look at them and he'll say, where is the chair? Where is the table? Where is the bookshelf? I see only wood. Yeah. Similarly, an Ajatavadin, when he completes his Ajatavad journey at the end of Advaita level 3, when he is told, this is the waking world, this is the dream world, this is the deep sleep world, he says, what world? I see only consciousness. I see only consciousness. When you come to this point, that is your master key. That is your assurance to your own self that yes, I have completed my journey. And when you say, what world? I see only consciousness. Before that, don't delude yourself that you have attained it. Before that, it is all intellectual. Only when you can say, what world? Then only have you completed your journey. This completes Maandukya Upanishad shlokas.